Hello, everyone. Welcome to Echo. How are you today? Um, Weird scenario for me today, right? My background. I'm in my car waiting to meet with a client, so I got 30 minutes to kill. Decided to make a quick episode that I've been trying to record for days now, and well, uh, information that everything is going to be happening today with the Supreme Court making some decisions that definitely will alter how life can or how life will go on. From birthright citizenship, which is a big deal, to the rest of it. So let's see. Um, Many of you are very smart people who can understand and process information with no problem. My brain doesn't do that. I need to have it, I guess, dumbed down or watered down, um, just because it makes it easier for my brain to consume. Words like injection, um, or uh, adjournment. Just what do they mean? Well, a decision, postponing. So I prefer just a simple words like a decision instead of injunction, and like postpone instead of adjourn. And I only say that because in my field, I've learned that the most neutral language is usually the best. And so I have also noticed, as you all have noticed, when the other side says, well, he says it like it is, it's just bullshitting you, but he says it in a way that you like it. It feels like he's down to a level. He's not trying to be something that he's not, when totally opposite. Trying to be something that he's not. So I asked ChatGPT to help me understand the not understand, but to help me explain to me the six decisions of the Supreme Court today. And I asked it to be just straight up, no BS, no holdbacks. Don't say who and they and some people and some, just name who, what, when. And so it says, okay, got it. A raw, no fluff breakdown of the six Supreme Court decisions coming today, June 27th, 2025. This version names names, calls out who's trying to do what to whom, and makes it digestible without watering it down. Think of this as a clear-eyed, street-level take of people who want the truth with no legal fog or sugarcoating. So, first one, Trump birthright citizenship, can the court stop him? This one, you know, Trump issued an executive order trying to end the automatic citizenship for kids born in the U.S. if their parents are undocumented. Now, those are ones to go into more detail. Every single one of these ones has to be going more into detail, because if I am not wrong, that also required, I believe, that at one point they were pushing for the person to be a citizen. Even if you are a resident or something, there were, plans to, if they could apply now and apply later, where if you're not a citizen but you're a resident or something like that, then you still won't be able to, your kids won't be able to be full right citizenships. It also matters because he challenged the 14th Amendment, which says that being born in the U.S. soil equals you being a citizen, unless certain exceptions, like if there's a diplomat and they have a family here, because they are technically still everything under the other country, allegiance, work, everything. They're only here because they have to, basically, not because they want to. Um, or, somebody born to one of spies or people who wants to basically no real allegiance to the U.S. But anybody else, citizen, like immigrants, citizen. Now, it also affects because of how the judge blocks Trump's order for the entire country via nationwide injunctions or court orders, or Trump will get his way and possibly on birthright citizenship. Now, with the whole whether a judge can send out a map or an order and then be able to say that only applies locally, like that makes no sense. And maybe I'm missing something because of my own stupidity, but I need to make sure that I reach out to somebody who knows more about it. Maybe, I mean, I don't think I'll find an expert, but somebody who has more knowledge about it to explain it to me, because it makes no sense to me that you will tell the judge that they don't have the power. Like, where is the checks and balance then if the judge can say to the president no? Or, I mean, because usually they just stop it so that somebody else higher can review it, or so that they can review it and go through the process itself. So now we're going to go through the process. Well, like right now, people are now allowed to be sent to third world countries or third party countries. I mean, can you imagine yourself, you, whoever's listening to this, you wake up, going to do whatever it is that you're going to do, and suddenly you get pulled over. You got a whole bunch of people kidnapping you because you don't know if they're real cops. We're all taught, and it's ingrained in our head to do as told, and we do. But we are also ingrained that the officers will be able to identify themselves and will be able to go by the law, because when they don't, I'm just back in Venezuela. That's what happened over there all the time. Cops can just pull you over. You know, the only thing that saved me in Venezuela, it was my dad used to be a low level judge, and but just having the title judge made the cops keep in line. And I wasn't really doing anything but just driving around. And so it's the kind of situation where does it stop? Because once I can get away with one, I'm gonna keep pushing to get more. And so that's, in my opinion, two decisions being made into one. Um, Parents versus LGBTQ plus books. Do families have the right to opt out? Muslims and Christians parents in Montgomery County, Maryland versus the school board, local school board. Schools introduce books like Pride Puppy and Uncle Bobby's Wedding that show LGBT plus Q plus families, parents asked to pull their kids from these lessons. The school said no exceptions. It matters because this is a fight about religion freedom versus inclusion. The court will decide whether schools can force kids to read LGBTQ content even if it goes against their family beliefs, or whether parents will have a say in whether kids are taught. That's a simple one to me. The parents should have the decision, and not because of anti-gay or pro-religion or pro-gay anti-religion. It's more because of your own personal decision. Nobody else should be telling you. It's like if you are trying to tell me that my kid will have to have and go through the 10 commandments every morning. Because in Venezuela, we do the Pledge of Allegiance. We are extremely Catholics, Roman Catholics. My entire family, oh my God, like that's the main thing all around the country. So we had catechism classes in school. They taught them in the school, but that was to prepare to go take the communion because it is such a Catholic place. But if I'm not wrong, that was still optional because you have other kids of other religions that didn't. But obviously, it was like 1 out of 100 that would be in a different religion. But that's just a random number, but pretty much real. Um, I never really met in my neighborhood somebody who wasn't Catholic just like that. I mean, when I'm talking about neighborhood, the town itself, there were like very, very like 5, 6 people. You know, um, they were Jewish. There were like a few dozen Jehovah Witnesses. Um, there were plenty of evangelists, but I would say 90 or 80% Catholic. So those divisions, those you cannot just be forcing people to like your view. You can explain it, you can support it, you can show it, and that's the freedom and that's the right to be able to talk about it. You cannot force somebody else to listen to it. So no, I don't agree with the school saying that it's mandatory for everyone because then we should, when everybody else goes and start teaching something else that they don't like, now they're gonna try to change the law to make it, optional. So parents should decide. Three, Louisiana black voters versus the GOP, and it's a new voting map fair. The Louisiana state government, which is Republican led, versus a civil rights advocate and black voters, and a new congressional map was created with two majority black districts after court said that the old map diluted black votes. Why it matters? Because Republicans say that the new map is racial gerrymandering. To focus on race, civil rights groups say it finally gives black community a real voice. Now, if the Supreme Court sides with Republicans, black voters in Louisiana could lose representation if they just gain. Why this matters? Because it is crazy how they complain of gerrymandering by somebody else when they're the ones that are always doing it and making sure that they can tighten up the screws on it even more. You don't want to have the problem? Why don't you do like Schwarzenegger and many others have championed for many years? Eliminate it altogether. How about that? But that's a conversation that they're not ready to have because it will give everybody else a fair shot or a fairer shot. They're not ready for that. 4, Texas versus porn viewers. Should you show ID to watch sex online? Yeah, I'm not even going to go into the rest of it right now. But yeah, because you should be able to verify who the hell is watching it. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton versus Free Speech Coalition Adult Industry Group. What's happening? Texas passed a law saying you must upload an ID to access adult websites. Upload? That's a whole different story. Why it matters. The porn industry says that this put people at risk of hacking, stalking, and government hacking. Texas said it must protect kids from online porn. Fuck off. What's at stake? If Texas wins, millions of adults may have to give up privacy just to view the legal content. If Texas loses, state might lose power to regulate the internet like this. I'm sorry. The freedom of speech people, the don't trade on me people, the get off my back people wants to have your ID for you to watch porn? Are you kidding me? Have you not seen the news lately? In the past several months and years, how most child predators that come out of the political parties are usually Republicans. Matt Gaetz, nothing. The last couple of ones lately, nothing. Okay, so you, Texas, not Texas, just my guy and all of you extremists. Let me ask you this. Isn't it maybe a chance that talking openly and honestly about life with your kids may prepare them better than trying to hide everything away from them and make sure that we don't talk about it? Because that way, God knows what could happen if you're informed and make decisions based on what you think is best for you by the knowledge I given you, the assisting you to grow in life and learn what's good, what's bad. No, you guys want control. You do as I say, when I say, do as I told, not as I do. Yeah. It is incredible because you guys keep saying that you all the freedom fighters and whatever the hell you like to call yourself, but Jesus Christ, your freedom is not, it's just on who can get some stuff. The rest of it is it's just screwed. Like this is gonna be as bad as this is gonna be as bad for Texas as uh um the bootleggers and prohibition. Because you know that Texas love their porn. So, and if they start messing with that, what's going to happen with the strip clubs? Now, number 5, religious employers versus Obamacare. Can they refuse preventive care? Both Christians owners like Brentwood Management versus the U.S. And this employer say that they shouldn't have to cover things like HIV prevention, cancer screening, and birth control because the task force making them rules wasn't confirmed by the Senate and doesn't reflect the religious values. They are trying to undermine the Affordable Care Act by attacking how it mandates free care. And if the courts agree, millions of people could lose access to free health screening for things like breast cancer, HIV, and more. Now, I'm sorry, why again are you trying to force your religious views on me? So, you see, imagine if it wasn't a Christian values. Imagine if it would be more of a Jehovah Witness values that we're trying to implement. And Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't believe in transfer, like transplants or blood transfusion or anything like that. So, are we going to force everybody else to die because we refuse to get a blood transfusion or a transplant or anything like that? Right? They're not forcing that on us. You agree to that if you join the religion. So it should be a free will thing. Just my opinion. Never mind that for the people who say to care about health in pro life, let's just talk about pro life. Pro life, I want you to have a life. Well, that implies being able to give to somebody else's kid what we gave ourselves if they can't provide it. Have a safety net for those kids who doesn't have the ability or the ways to receive what other kids get for granted. Oh no, that's their parents' problem. Well, then you're not pro-life, you're pro-birth. You give a fuck about being given birth, you don't care about what happens to it afterwards. That's not pro-life. Pro-life, it's taking care of them throughout the life and the moments that are needed. Doesn't mean that you pay up and do everything for them for their entire life. It does mean that you prepare them for life. You give them the knowledge, the tools, and the resources to be able to, when they grow up, be a good member of society, a productive member of society. It reduces crime, improves increases performance and how the country does. So yeah. And then right-wing groups and the FCC who should control the internet subsidies. Conservatives, organizations, Consumer Research, and the Federal Communications at the FCC runs a $9 billion programs to help low-income people pay for internet and phone bills, especially in rural areas. Critics say the FCC and private companies like USAC, which administers the fund, are acting without real congressional oversight. They say it matters because it's part of a bigger push to shrink the government power and question if agencies like the FCC should exist at their current form. What's at stake is that if the courts limit the FCC, millions of Americans could lose access to affordable internet, especially in poor and rural areas. This is a lot of the red states, because us in blue states, even if it gets taken away, we get representative in government that usually would provide it for us anyway, or in some way or another one. You guys get it lost completely because you usually get revenue from us to be able to do so. So why does it matter? Because you might be getting a cheap price. My mom's electricity just went up $50 a month because of a subsidy going away. My mom is 75. She works Monday through Friday. She starts at 6:30, 6 o'clock in the morning as a mall cleaner and ends at 2:30 in the afternoon. So she can't spend any time with grandkids or anybody because she's working. And when she's not working, her body doesn't want to do a damn thing. Everything hurts so badly. So now you're going to make them pay more and take those subsidies away from people that are already on a limit, on a budget. And that will allow them to not be connected, to not be informed, and for them to be able to continue to doing all the dirty shit they're doing. So yeah, basically, Trump wants to end birth certificate, and we'll see if the courts will stop him. Parents are fighting schools for the fight to keep their children out of LGBTQ story time. I would call it more parents are fighting to have a choice on what the kids in certain things. Geography, you gotta learn it. Black voters in Louisiana may lose new voting power they just got if Republicans get their way. Texas wants ID online before you can legally watch porn. Extreme overreach. Religious business owner want to kill part of Obamacare. Hey, they all got extremely great benefits and healthcare paid for us. Why should we? Conservative groups are trying to gut the FCC, which could cut off internet aid for low-income folks. And never mind that if you also remove the FCC, who is going to be controlling some of these things that, shouldn't be settled. So some of the, being proper, being, eloquent, not saying the bad things, such and so on. Anyway, everyone have a great day.